Welcome to that program that prioritizes you, and that's because you are so special. Welcome to You and Your Body. I'm your host, Miracle Adeniyi, and you on to Immaculate Television Station. Okay, last on our last episode, we talked about children with special needs, and a speech pathologist was here in person of Mrs. Eyitayo, and she shared so much with us, and she really gave us from her wealth of knowledge. And of course, she's still very much here to share so many more things with us. And we are continuing with children with special needs, okay, because we are so particular about these children, and we know that they have their quotas to contribute as individuals, and of course to development at societal level, national level, and even the world at large. Okay, so they should not be left out of what they can do to make this world a better place. And if you could remember, in the words in her advice, her last piece of advice which she gave us in our last episode, she said, and she emphasized, that they should not be stigmatized. Okay, so this is calling out to everyone, whether you have them in your family, you have them in your school, you have them around you. They should not be stigmatized. They are children with special needs, and of course they need help. Okay, they should be given as much support as possible. Okay, so right here with me is Mrs. Eyitayo. She is a speech pathologist. You are welcome once again, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right, and today we're going to be talking more about these children with special needs, and we are going to be starting with autism. Okay, there are diverse conditions, there are diverse situations that are referred to as special needs, but we're going to be starting with autism. Okay, Mrs. Eyitayo, what is autism?
Okay, simply put, autism is a condition, um, is a developmental condition, is a brain situation. So I would just like to put it simply. It's a situation of the brain where we have disruptions. There are regular ways that children think. But when the brain is not receiving like it should receive, and is not giving out as it should give out, it affects a lot of things.
Okay.
So for children with autism, their sensory organ is affected. Sensory organ, I'll mention things like the tactile means of sense, that is when they are touching, their hearing capability,
Okay.
Their sight capability, then their daily living also.
The interaction with
Yes,
the
they have communication
environment.
issues. They don't mix up with children. They just feel timid.
Wow.
And also, when you see a child, a small child that is not playing with other children, it could be a sign that the child is autistic. When you see a child that does not like too much light, an autistic child cannot sit here like
Because
we are
of the
because of the
lights.
lights. Their sense to light is very, very high.
Wow.
They don't like to stay with light, except the light is now the one that rolls and rolls and rolls and gives them colors and all. So like regular children, that they will not want to stay there, but children with autism, that is what they want to have. Then they have this tactile sensory discomfort.
Okay. What do you mean
When
by tactile
you know
sensory
their
discomfort?
their sense of touch,
Wow.
even their sense of, when they sight anything that they feel, when they touch it, it can irritate them. They are irritable. They get irritated easily. Their emotional comportment is very poor. That's why it's difficult for them to communicate.
Wow. So when they touch probably any surface, it irritates, they begin
Yes,
to react.
yes. When they say anything spiky, you just see them screaming. They will just become uncomfortable and they start screaming. They can be here and be holding their ears and they'll scream. Is a situation of the brain,
Okay.
actually.
Are they also sensitive to noise?
Yes, they are
Okay.
sensitive to noise.
Okay.
When there is a sudden noise, a sudden bang, or maybe there is a trumpet blowing, they are very sensitive to it.
So
In
it
fact, they will hold on
discomforts
to
them
their discomfort. In
a
fact, it
lot.
goes a lot. It makes them uncomfortable. They just don't want to mix up. They see people, they run away. I mean, the severity of the condition actually affects the child more than another. And they have communication issues. I mean, a lot of them have speech disability.
Wow.
They don't speak. Either by selective mutism, they just choose not to speak.
So these wonderful children, these children with special needs, can they still contribute their own quota to the development of society?
Yes.
Okay, how can that be achieved with all these discomforts and this
That
here
is
and
where
there?
that is where sensitization and awareness like this is very important.
Okay.
So children with special needs, when they get to the hospital and they are assessed by a specialist, the first thing they ask them to do is to have them come for early. That might be a pre-assessment diagnosis. When they diagnose what their condition is, then they call them in for a regular assessment. I mean, full assessment with tools that are certified, certified, authentic tools that have been used before. Because children with autism, I mean, we are talking about autism now. There are other ones that
Yes.
also, but children with autism, over time, we have cases that we have children with autism becoming medical doctors.
Wow.
Yes, because their receptive parts is very good. They are always very brilliant. Wow. They are super brilliant.
Wow.
Yes.
So when
So
you
when they are giving early intervention,
Yes.
there is early diagnosis, there is
Yes.
early assessment,
Yes.
and there is early therapy
Yes.
for them. They grow to
become
what they want to be
Wow.
in their nearest future.
Wow, that's
But
wonderful.
when they are left, they are not attended to. People start seeing them as vagabonds because they develop behavioral issues. Just because they also will realize that they are not
They are
going like
different.
yes. A lot of times, children with special needs, they know they are different.
My God.
They know they are aware that oh, I'm
Aware
quite different from every other person.
Wow.
So is it that it kills their morale,
Yeah.
or it just turns them to something else? So they start having behavioral misconduct. So they become either the black egg in the society and all and
Yeah.
all. So if you
Yeah.
are trying to avoid having children with special needs going down the
wild,
drain, then we
yes.
need to help them early.
Wow.
Is a health issue, and they need support. A lot of times, what I advocate for
Yes.
is supporting them.
So, like, what age do you think that this could? At what age can they be brought? Can they be taken to the hospital?
At any age. But you know, when a child is developing, you start seeing from age 2. Oh, this child is not developing like I should see him develop. Immediately, don't say, oh, that's your children develop in different ways.
Yeah.
Oh no, the child might decide not to
Yeah.
go there. When they tell you, oh, madam, oh, sir, this child is actually developing, you don't have it, then you are okay.
it's
But you
better.
are not clear, please get
Take
to
them
a
there.
specialist. Go to the hospital where you get help.
Wow. All right, let's talk about the cleft palate and children with cleft palate. How can they be helped?
Yeah, children with cleft palates. Also, when they are brought to the hospital, I mean, you can't keep children in the house. And when you keep them in the house, they keep staying in the house and they keep growing with that condition. But when you bring them out, that's why there's no stigmatization. When you see a child with cleft palate, it's a condition, it's an health condition that can be worked
Which
on.
can be worked on.
So when they are brought to the hospital, they get to the right channel. Then they go for the regular surgery, I mean the normal surgery that they should go for, and they get
the
help
correction.
and support to correct the cleft, the hole in their palate, or the one that comes on their lip, depending on the severity of the condition.
Okay, and after which they undergo
After which they undergo
therapy.
speech therapy to help them start speaking and develop speech like all other children.
So like like how long can one begin to notice, okay, there is a change, there's a positive change in the life of this child.
In fact, you can start noticing a positive change in the speech of a child the very day you start therapy.
Wow, that's
Yes,
encouraging.
yes, because and it's possible you might not even see it in 1 year.
Okay, but something is being imparted.
Something is being imparted. Something is being imparted. I mean, we have cases of children that they are being imparted, and when you want them to speak, they will just not speak. And one day,
You'll be so
you
surprised.
as a therapist will not be there. You just receive a call. Oh, so and so. He just pronounced his first. He just made his first three sentence. You know. So, and you know, the therapist may not be there at that time, but it is what is being instilled in the child.
That's very true. That's very true. That's very true. All right. So let's look at it. All right. Okay, ma. Those with Down syndrome, can it be managed?
Yes, Down syndrome can be managed.
Okay.
And they can also contribute a lot to the society.
Wow.
I mean, there are a lot of times that we've seen cases of Down syndrome individual that are engineers. Yes, you see an adult with Down syndrome, and you know this person. You know they have a physical feature. When you see a person with Down syndrome, you instantly know this person has this condition. Yes. So we have cases of engineers having Down syndrome individuals that become engineers and a simply put, is also a cognitive condition.
Okay.
By cognitive, I mean it's from the brain, just like autism, just like Down syndrome.
Yes.
It's also a cognitive condition that affects some parts of the body. You know, a lot of times the brain controls the body. Yes. So when the brain cannot send or relay message to the muscles that controls the hand, the brain cannot send message, or the muscles controlling the tongue cannot receive message from the brain, then the tongue cannot control the saliva production. That's why we see children with cerebral palsy having to drool, they have uncontrolled saliva discharge and all.
Okay.
And sometimes, you know, their legs, when they might have one hand, one leg impairment. Okay. So, and they might not stand straight. That's another condition.
All right.
So, and it can sometimes, I mean, I've seen cases of cerebral palsy being overcome.
Wow.
A child can overcome cerebral palsy.
Okay, how does that happen?
It happens by
the right medical attention.
Exactly. A lot of times, children with cerebral palsy are helped by physiotherapists.
Okay.
The physiotherapist, after assessments, they check through their brain, after their bones, their muscles, and they start having sessions, therapy sessions on the muscles, on the bone. And you know, a lot of counseling, you talk to the child. When you talk to a child, it goes to the brain.
Yeah.
You start having therapy for the child in the brain. You talk to the child becomes happy, the brain relays message. The physiotherapists work on the muscles and the bone.
So you mean those muscles can actually receive life and become...
there are cases of children with cerebral palsy at age, as I'm talking to you, I remember a child at age 4. The child could, in fact, the pictures and videos I saw during assessments, the child couldn't even move. And when the child came for speech assessment, the child walked into the speech clinic by himself. Wow. So when I saw the pictures, I saw a child with cerebral palsy can overcome this challenge. And the boy overcame the challenge, and it's fine. Although there are still other things that need to be worked on after the physical impairment is overcome, just like speech and the intelligence tests. You have to do intelligence tests for the child to know the function of the brain, then the speech diagnosis to know how far the child can go with speech.
So what you're saying categorically is that these children are not
They are not
they
useless.
are not useless.
No.
They are not a write-off.
No.
There is so much hope for them.
Yes.
And they can still come out the best
Yes.
that they desire
And
to
they
be.
can be independent.
Wow.
I mean, you can see there are some people with cerebral palsy that have grown and they are making ends meet for
For
themselves.
themselves.
They might not be intelligent enough to become medical doctors, engineers, but
But
they can be skillful in
Yeah.
other things.
yeah.
You know, professional skills. They can be they can be caterers. They can be shoe menders.
Yeah.
They can be gatemen. They can be
They
pool
can have their own
attendants.
business.
They can have their own businesses.
Attend to their customers
Exactly.
without
And they'll be
any
independent. They can have a
issue.
family, but if they are not supported from the beginning, they are not helped from the beginning to make them discover themselves rather than
Yes.
going down the drain,
Yes.
then it may not work for them.
So starting early is key.
Yes.
Getting support from your environment is
Is
key.
important.
And continuing in, that thing that helps them.
Yes.
Probably receiving the therapy,
Exactly.
continuing it.
Exactly.
It makes them whole and
Yes.
makes them total. All right, thank you so very much.
Yeah.
My guest has been Mrs. Eyitayo, and she's a speech pathologist, and she has really shared so much with us, and she has made us realize that these children with special needs, they are not a write-off. They are not to be looked down on, because they have so much to contribute to this societal development, both at national and even global levels. All right, so if you have anyone around you, please don't look down on them, encourage them, and of course, give them that support you can give to them. All right, Mrs. Eyitayo, thank you so very
You're
much.
welcome.
I really appreciate this wonderful lecture you've given it to us. All right. Okay, I've been your host, Miracle Adeniyi. Let's make it a date, same time, same station, on our next episode. All right, thanks for listening. And of course, every information you've gotten here, please make good use of them. All right, see you on our next episode. Thanks for watching.